Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Exactly 7 minutes past the top of the hour, that is 9 a.m. Thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra, which is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. But I can't forget to remind you that we are always here from 6:30. And what do we do best is ensuring that you start your morning a very informed person of about everything that is happening locally, internationally, but above all, also we spice up your mornings, no matter how dark your nights could have been. Today we had Monica Najuma putting on that shouting yellow. And of course it was a prediction that it's going to be a fairly, we shall have the sunshine. And indeed, yeah, it is a bright morning, I must say. I hope it's bright even in your mind and you have that positive mindset to help you conquer the day. Now, from issues of finances, here I am in the extra with issues of enhancing tourism as an engine for social and economic transformation. Now, when you talk about tourism in our country, many people think about a foreigner who is going to be coming to this country, but there's also domestic tourism. And I must say, over a time, the youths in particular have embraced this. I see various groups of young people on social media posting when they have moved in groups to certain destinations. We have now all sorts of tourism. I even saw a group of people who go to a certain farm. You can camp there. There's good food. You see the animals. You live in the wild. And I'm like, praise the Lord. Now we are not only relying on the white man to come, but also we are having domestic tourism. But for today's program in particular, we want to look at tourism also involving another side. How do we take what we have to the United Kingdom and above? And joining me on set is Timothy Ocheng, who happens to be the director of East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo. Now, good morning. Good
morning to you and good morning to our dear viewers.
I love your shirt. I see something as East Africa UK Tourism Expo, where you happen to be the director. Please first begin by telling me what this is all about.
Yes, so once again, good morning to you and good morning to all your viewers. I'm called Timothy Ocheng. I'm a tour operator by profession. I'm the director of TIO Tours and Travels, but also I happen to be the co-chair or director of the first East African UK Tourism and Culture Expo. Basically, the East Africa UK Culture and Tourism Expo is just like any other normal expos. We are just coming together as tour operators from East Africa, looking for potential buyers. If I'm to use a simple word, tugenda kwetega. We are looking for the right people who are going to buy East Africa products. So basically the expo will take place this November from 7th to 8th in London. Now we designed it in a way that in November always there's a very big expo called World Travel Market. It takes place in London. So we are looking at having those buyers who will be coming to attend the World Travel Market to come and attend our expo, and then we see how we can sell to them East Africa as a destination. So we are looking forward to having all the big guns come, and then we show them what East Africa has to offer as a destination.
Now, when you talk about tourism in the East African sector, country, we have a number of disparities.
Exactly.
One country has gone far ahead.
Yes.
Another country, we're struggling.
Okay.
The other doesn't have, I don't want to mention countries. The other doesn't have so much. Actually, sometimes our gorillas assist them.
Okay.
As a tourist attractor.
True.
Yet they are ours, but we let that go.
Okay.
So with these imbalances, how are you going to jointly sell products for each country?
Okay. Now you see, East Africa is unique. You see, I always tell people that you see, God is an amazing person. When he was creating the whole region as East Africa, he gave each region something unique. For example, now, if someone wants to have a full safari, you need to visit Uganda. you need to visit Rwanda, you need to visit Kenya, you need to visit Tanzania. Each destination has something very unique. If, for example, someone say you want
So
to
you want a
visit,
tourist who comes to Kenya,
exactly,
to go to Uganda,
exactly,
to go to Tanzania.
Yes,
A
yes.
tourist who comes to Uganda, so that once you're planning, you're not
Yes.
planning of one country.
Exactly.
But
Actually, the whole thing is that each destination is unique. For you
Okay.
to have the entire good experience, you need to explore.
Take me through the uniqueness.
For example, now you can say maybe, for example, you want to visit the most powerful waterfalls in the world. Definitely, you look at Uganda. When you want to see the gorillas, you can look at Uganda or Rwanda. Now, when you come to wildlife, definitely you look at Masai Mara, and then you also look at the Tanzania. When you look at the nice beaches, you're looking at Kenya or Zanzibar or Mombasa or Zanzibar. When you're looking at the cultures, you'll come to the Masai Mara, you'll come to the Karamajong. When you look at the cultural dances, you'll come to Rwanda. So you find that the destinations are all unique and they all work hand in hand. So we thought that it will be a much better option for us to come together as East Africans, because we sell the destination as a whole. It's because someone will tell you, no, I want to see a gorilla, but also I want to visit maybe one culture, then maybe I want to see the waterfall. So you find that the whole package, you cost it around East Africa as a region. So that's why we work hand in hand. But also still coming back to the strategic alignment of, I think, of the East African community, we are trying to promote East Africa as a destination. It's much easier to sell a bigger destination as something a bit smaller. So that's why we're focusing on East Africa as a region. Yes, please.
Well, now you move away my worry, because if a tourist reaches one country, better developed, when, for example, the hospitality industry is better developed, more advanced, they may not move to another area. But with that explanation, now my worries have been something dealt with. Now, at this Expo, how do you intend to do this? Because you're saying there is another event and you want to fit this into the other.
Yeah. So basically, if you're a tour person and I've been going to these different events, personally I've been traveling a lot. I attend ITB. ITB is like the biggest historians in German. But the challenge we find that these events are very big. I give you an example of ITB Berlin. You'll find about 200,000 participants in one space. Now that's a very, very big space. So you find that sometimes it's very hard for you to sell properly, because it's the big players who are there. You find a country like Saudi Arabia, they have maybe a booth size of entire UBC premises. You find these countries, they really go out big. So you find for us from East Africa, we have very, very small budgets. We need to strategize ourselves properly. So I thought that because we did this last year in Canada and we were very successful here. So I thought that why not get the same concept in the UK? What happens is we go to these events because we know that each person in the tour industry worldwide will be there. So we organize ourselves and we're like, okay, now these are operators from East Africa. Then we call the people whom we think are the potential buyers. Buyers, I mean that these are tour operators from other countries, maybe say from China, from Malaysia, from Singapore, who have clients who want to visit East Africa. So we invite them and then we tell them, you know what, we are companies ABCD, we are from East Africa, and then we are inviting you to bring in your clients who want to buy East Africa. But away from that, we're also looking at how can we attract investment. That's why I come back to your point. Yeah, we feel that, as you mentioned, there is some disparities. If you went to our national parks, right now we're in June, July, August. Now this is our peak season. And I can tell you that there is a gap. The accommodation is not enough. 2 weeks back I was in Maxon Falls. Almost every weekend I go to the national parks. But you'll find that there is that gap. We need more accommodation. There's still room for getting more accommodation. Our infrastructure is still missing. So you find that we also want to go and see how do we attract investments during this expo. So away from just the normal looking for the buyers, we also want to engage the key stakeholders, tell them that how do we work hand in hand, and then we attract investments. To do that, of course, we're engaging a number of entities. One, we're working with government. We're in touch with the High Commission in London. We work closely with the Minister of Tourism. But also, we are working with the partner countries. it's an East Africa event. So we expect to have policymakers from Rwanda, from Kenya, from Tanzania, and Burundi, even the DRC Congo. And then they come, and then we promote East Africa as a destination. So we are hoping that we're able to bring all these people together, and on top of just attracting the potential
tourists,
buyers,
yes.
but also want to attract investment. And in that way, we can able to achieve our target of socio-economic transformation.
I love the fact that you're also focusing on investment into these various tourist destinations, because one of the challenges I've always found is there is a gap in marketing, what Uganda we have, but also in improving facilities. Since I was young, the source of the Nile has remained the source of the Nile.
True.
Nothing so much. However, I'm aware government has plans to modify the place and do that, but maybe it's a snail pace. Since I was in primary school, when we went to CP Falls, till date, nothing has changed. You pass through a funny forest, then you get on top there, then there is like a funny ladder there, then you know, nothing has changed. When you go to most of these areas, you ask yourself, is this what we've been studying? You know, the image you may have, and when you get there, of course there have been improvement in the roads. That is something we must commend our government. But I think there's still so much, contrary to our brothers, when you go to visit some of their areas. And I think this is is it that tourists want to find these in their actual natural setting? Or is it that you tour operators are not pushing government enough to make these pleasant as they are in a number of countries?
Well, now your question has, we can look at it from two perspectives.
Because you're the people making money. These are gaps you should have seen, and maybe through a conglomeration or something, forward them, because tourism pays so much. Actually, we get so much foreign exchange through tourism. We can't continue milking a cow.
Well, I think I would respond to some questions that I feel maybe I can. But however, now there are two perspectives. For example, if you went to Kasubi Tombs, the tourist has to find it the way it was in before. You cannot do much. There are Masiro, someone wants to find, he wants to see the real hatches that were there before. So there's that element of preservation. Some items you need to preserve them the way they were before. That is one. But however, we need to ensure that the roads going to Masiro, are they good enough? That is now the question. Now there, I may not be the right person to answer that. That's now the role of the government or other entities. But my role is to ensure that how do I get a good package? That someone is coming from the USA and I want to see the Masiro, I need to provide them with a good package. Of course, we constantly engage the stakeholders, we engage UTB, we engage UWA, we engage, and of course they'll tell you we have these budget challenges, etc., etc., etc. But of course we're a work in progress. Each time we identify a challenge, they say how to address it, and then they come up with. But of course you're right, you mentioned the Nile. It has been for that for some time, you're right. And I think that government has to do a little bit more. Actually, I give you an example that we have so many attractions in Uganda that haven't yet been developed yet. I give you an example. If you went to northern Uganda, in Padere, there's a place called Fort Patiko. I don't know if you've ever heard about it.
I have.
Yeah, Fort Patiko, it's a very, very interesting, it has a lot of history. In the early days, I think in about, in the 1870s, 1880s, there was a lot of slave trade that used to happen from Patiko. It was more or less like a center where people used to come and then they get the slaves there and then they transport them from there. So it's a place with a lot of rich history. But if you went to Fort Patiko and reaching there, you'll be shocked. There is very, very basic facilities. There is possibly, you find that we need to do a lot more to preserve these places there. So this comes back to us as a country or as a nation. We need to sit back and say how best can we market our destination, but also how best can we preserve our attractions. Some countries have done a very good job. They have invested more in marketing, they have invested more in infrastructure, etc., etc. So I think even us as Ugandans, we need to come back and say, you know what, this is ABCD. We need to sit down and then we say, how best can we promote our list? How best can we market our attractions? we have so many attractions that haven't even been identified yet. I can tell you, I'm sorry to ask, but I don't know where you come from. I can tell you that you'll find that even the attractions from your locality that you're even not sure about. I come from Lira. Lira, there is a place where the late Kavaliga was arrested. But if you went there, there is nothing to show even. There is nothing to show. So you find that these are the gaps that we need to be addressing. So I think that it's always a conversation you keep on having, and then you see how best can we come up here. So it basically, it's through these forums whereby we identify those gaps, and then we say how best can we address them.
Now, we are looking at selling East Africa, and that is the East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo.
Yes.
Now, as tour operators,
Yes.
and for a long time, even as a country or as a ministry, as Uganda Tourism Board, we've for long concentrated so much. Not that what you're doing is wrong,
Yes.
because we aim at bringing in foreign exchange. But COVID taught us good lessons.
True.
Well, we couldn't have these tourists coming.
Yes.
How is our domestic tourism industry doing? And we don't see so much of you focusing on it. Is it not profitable? Have we come to embrace tourism as Ugandans and buy deep into this?
Yeah.
Because I think this would also maybe add on the pressure for these places to be developed.
Well, actually, we at TIO Tours, where I head, I think we learned some lessons the hard way. Yeah, previously, of course, most tour operators would not focus on the domestic tourism.
Yes.
Reason being that, but sometimes I understand where they're coming from. Because I give you an example. If I gave you a package that, you know what, you need to come and visit me, let me say Queen Elizabeth National Park. I tell you accommodation is maybe $200. You find that the prices are way out of an ordinary local tourist. So, but in COVID, when things were really bad, I think the different stakeholders in tourism industry came on board and like, you know what, how do we make it more affordable and more attractive to the local tourist? So by then, the UWA brought down the rates. The entry fees to the parks were lowered down. The hotels also, because the hotels were empty, no foreigners were coming on board, no free tourists. So the hotels also brought their figures down. Now you'll find that there was a slight boom. Because personally, I think I had about 6 trips during that COVID time. Yeah, you normally get a couple of friends, you go. Of course, it wasn't that cost effective. What I mean that you don't really get a lot of returns. But however, for us now, what we focused more was the cultural tourism, because we feel that there's a lot more to culture. When we're beginning the show, you mentioned about. I think currently there's a tourism whereby someone goes and then you get to enjoy the local delicacies, you get to enjoy the local. Yeah, it's something that is a bit unique, and I can tell you the locals are really going for it. Each weekend, I think you find that a couple of friends, they can get together, they go to a destination, then they go and then they enjoy the culture. So I think locally, the domestic tourism, it has. I'm not sure about the numbers. But each time you go to a national park, it's very, very rare not to find locals. And by locals, I mean you find people who are driving their own private cars. They're going with their families, children and they're going to enjoy the park. The numbers have really gone up, yes. So I think that COVID taught us a lesson that, you know what, you need to focus more on the domestic tourism. I think that UTB as our entity in charge of marketing, that should do a little bit more. Because I've seen them having things, I've seen Explore West, Explore Easter. All those campaigns are targeted to attract the locals, yes. But I think they need to put in a bit more effort and then see how effective are those campaigns that are taking, yes. But I would say that the local domestic tourism has really picked up, yes.
Oh, that is very encouraging if the domestic tourism has picked up now. Going back to the UK, the East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo, how is, because when you say you've come together,
yes.
Are you going to have specific stores in the UK showing what we are having? How many are you? Okay. How should someone join? Okay. You know, because I may have, maybe is it all about you two people in the business, okay, or is it even if I have a tourist resort or something that I feel I want to dive deeper into that.
That's a very good question. Yeah, so basically, just like an expo, you have participants and you have exhibitors.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we are just coming, like we're just organizing like any normal expo. So we're definitely going to have exhibitors now. So if you have like a tour company, you can reach out to us. Then you come and then you get yourself a stall. Basically, when you have yourself your stall, you'll come and then you showcase the different packages that you have to offer. But then also we are having the different destinations. So we shall have maybe a stall for destination Rwanda, destination Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, South Sudan, and Congo, whereby specifically they'll be talking about the different destinations, the specific destinations. Yeah. So each person is allowed. You can come as and participate as a participant or as an exhibitor. Basically, if you want to participate, just visit our website. It's www.eaukexpo.com. You'll find all the eauktourismexpo.com. You'll find all the information there, how you can register, but also how to participate. Yeah. So basically, during the event, we hope to have a number of speakers who are very, very keen to our industry. Yes. So you can come and participate as an exhibitor. You can showcase the different packages you have. Yes. So it's very possible to be part of the expo. Yes.
And our view, right, is very important also to know that tourism sector is one of the sectors that is doing us very good when it comes to foreign exchange. It has struggled, yes, COVID-19 gave them a serious blow because movement was not possible and all the technicalities that came with COVID-19. But I want to believe, would we say, have you fully recovered or still on the journey to recover?
Well, from the statistics, last year we had about 1.2 million visitors to Uganda as a destination. The 2019 figures was about 1.5 million visitors. So I think that we are going there. But by the end of this year, we expect to reach 2 million visitors. So we're expecting we're expecting to do a big recovery. So I think by the end of this year, we should have fully recovered from the COVID setback. Yes.
What have been your quick springboards? Because when we saw a number of hotels close, some move out of business, we saw a number of people who had booked cancel their bookings.
Yes.
You know, it seemed a very big pit to come out of. So what have been some of those springboards that that have gotten you where you are?
Well, at first I would say that most of us had to go back to the drawing board. We had to look at the locals because they kept us afloat. We kept on moving. But also I think that the tourism industry is a bit dynamic. True, there were those challenges, but I think when you look at the period of 2022, 2023, especially 2022, you see the lockdown was quite long and tiresome. Now, the tourists, some of them really wanted to get out. Like, was like, I'm tired. I remember in 2022, I think around July, I was in the UK. So, still around the same time, the summertime. So that time, I wanted to come back to Uganda. But they were not, I had the ticket, but the flights were almost fully booked. So the airline offered me to pay me so that I can postpone my flight. I think the flights were overbooked. I told them that no, I want to go back to Uganda. So you find that there was a lot of demand. Like people, after they were in a lockdown for a long time, they wanted to travel at all costs. Like I think they're like, you know what, I'm tired. I've been in the house, haven't traveled anywhere. Because some had even taken for a full year without going anywhere. So when they finally, the borders opened up, they were very, very excited and they were willing to do anything to travel, yes. So, but also during the lockdown also, I would say that there was a lot of improvement. I give you an example. When you go to Maxon Falls National Park, it's during the lockdown that I think the government fully completed building the bridge. The roads were well set. I think also it gave them some bit of time to properly organize themselves. They introduced the electronic systems, etc., etc. So when the tourists came back, I think we handled them in a much better way. The services there was a lot of improvement in service delivery. during the lockdown, there were a lot of trainings in terms of how to handle the clients, etc. So I think that our services post-COVID also has also improved a lot. So you find that now these days, the clients, the companies that are getting that, then I think you say once you get a shock now, you handle everything now with a lot of care, yes. So I think COVID taught us some lessons, but from those lessons we have improved our services, and I think that in the long run it's benefiting us a lot more.
Well, we are still discussing the East Africa UK tourism culture and expo, but allow me go for a very short break. When we return, we'll still be looking at things regarding tourism, issues of tourism as a region now, not as Uganda only, but as a region, because this is a campaign to sell East Africa to the rest of the world so that it is a #1 destination. And once you land into any of the countries that make up the East African community, we make sure you don't only end there, but move to other countries as well, because we are all unique in one way, and we have various tourist attractions that others don't have. So that is unity in diversity for a tourist to have the best meal and a journey to tell when they go back to their country. Let's return.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their targets and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive
Moms
skin.
all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja to the town or city near you between July and December this year. Don't miss Uganda's beautiful stories from east to west, north to south in Tuko Pamoja.
Uganda as we see it today never had a name. It had the regions that make it.
The battle for protecting the sovereign Uganda was lost in Dokolo.
Uganda, fortunately for us, is a confluence of all these races, the races of Africa.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
Genetically, we are even similar people.
We are one. Use that word pamoja.
To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Hey, business people of Uganda, the Ugandan National Lottery is coming. It's the perfect opportunity to boost your business. Zimba your business by becoming an authorized Uganda National Lottery agent. By paying a security deposit of just 250,000 shillings, you will receive your very own Uganda National Lottery terminal, expert training from the pros themselves, and marketing materials to skyrocket your sales. And with a generous 5% commission on every ticket sold, the potential for earnings is limitless. Don't miss out. Act now and call us toll-free at 0800 33 44 33 to see if you qualify. Join us today and Zimba your business. Ituba Uganda is regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you for being with us on UBC TV. Robert Cherabonyonitono, and with me I have Timothy Ocheng, who happens to be the director East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo that is going to be running in the UK. That is from the 7th of November, and here we are looking at selling to the world East Africa as a region, its potentials when it comes to the tourism industry, and why one should not only visit one country that make up the East African community, but ensure that when you pop into one, you also visit the other. Now, very interesting marketing strategy there, I must say. And I love the power in unity. But despite the power in unity, what assures you, Timothy, that a tourist will not stop in Kenya, that come to Uganda? Because here we are going together.
True.
Yes, we have different stores, but our aim is to sell East Africa as a region. But remember, there are some of us that have attained certain levels in terms of the hospitality industry, in terms of service delivery, in terms of everything. And there are some of us that are struggling. I don't want to mention those countries that are struggling, but the uniqueness is still there are some that are better blessed than the other in terms of what we give out, what we sell out. So what makes you think that in this deal we stand to benefit, not to lose?
Yeah, as I previously mentioned, if you find, what should I call, a safari fanatic, someone who wants to experience a true African safari, you cannot experience it in one country only, because we are all endowed differently. If you went to Kenya, you'll not find a single gorilla. If you went to Uganda, you may not find the amazing wildebeest migration. If you went to Tanzania, you may not experience the Kadodi dance. So you find that each culture has its own uniqueness, or its own country has its own uniqueness. So you find that in the end, because so many times we've been working closely. It's like, if for example, me and you, we can be in the transport business. You have, let me say, a Costa, me I have, let me say, a small van, a drone. So when I get a client when I get a business of, let me say, 10 clients, I'll take them. But when I get clients of 20 clients, I won't chase them away. I'll say, you bring me the job. And I'll come to you like, no, my brother, this is the job I have here. Because we've been working like that for a long time, yes. So it's always a win-win. Of course, there are scenarios where you find someone for him and says, no, me, I want to go and see the Masai Mara, period. When it comes in that perspective, you say to them. But you see, why we come together is that it's always easy to negotiate. When you come as a group, you know the power of many is better than one, yes. So when you come organized as a group, it's always easier to negotiate. It's easier to attract the big players because you are selling a bigger destination. Now, the beauty also is that some of these clients, they don't know really, because someone tells, okay, what do you have to offer? So it's upon you to even design the itinerary. So sometimes we customize the itinerary, like, you know what? Day 1 you'll be in Rwanda, day 2 in Uganda, day 3 in Kenya. And it's an amazing itinerary. So you find that, and actually you find that even the differences are maybe in terms of cost. Remember, as East Africa, we have the East Africa visa. So you just need only one visa, an East African visa, to enter into all the countries. So why not sell the whole package? Because the client already is free to move in all these countries. So you find that it's more beneficial to us, the tour operators, to sell East Africa as a destination compared to selling one country as a destination. Even if you don't have the presence. Personally, for us, we have presence in Kenya. So we're able to manage any business that comes to Kenya. But still, even if you're not in Kenya, you can attract, or you can cooperate with a fellow tour operator in Kenya, and you still offer the same package at a reasonable, affordable price, yes. So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
It's a win-win situation.
Yes,
when we have a region being sold out there. Now, what are some of those outstanding products that you're going to be selling to them?
Yes, well, East Africa, part of Africa, we are truly blessed. But first of all, we want to attract investment. Because our theme is socio-economic transformation. Now, just to give you some small statistics, in Uganda here, tourism employs about 7% of the population.
7%?
Yes, of the whole, the workforce in Uganda, 7% is in tourism. We have, that is directly. But remember, tourism, we have a very big supply, I call it a supply chain. If you, from the tour operators, from the transporters, from the hoteliers, from the guides, etc., there are people who are service providers to the different supply chains. So you find that there is that big command. But back to your question, our major interest is what? Is getting getting those guests to come here in Uganda, in the foreigners. Yes. So we are going to sell the destination, and then they'll be coming here. Yes.
Well, we hope that we have the best, and Uganda. Now, this is a region, but I'm a Ugandan, and I'm so tempted to look into what I stand, and because it's all about when at the end of the day you're calculating foreign exchange. That's why I get personal for my country. And then when you, of course, you told me that the bigger picture is you have more strength marketing a region than marketing a single, a particular country as an individual member state. So we just hope that this is the light of the day. Well, we must get out of here, but before we do that, Chen, let me have your parting shots to Ugandans.
Oh, well, first of all, I would like to thank every Ugandan who has supported tourism as a sector. I think that tourism, we have been one of the most fortunate. Uganda as a destination is truly blessed. We have so many attractions. Our cultures are amazing. You know how many cultures we have in Uganda? Or tribes?
Tribes, around 57?
58. Very good, yes. So, and then you find that each tribe is unique in its own way. We have our own foods, our own dances, our own practices. Have you been to northern Uganda in the Acholi? When you go to Mare there, there's a custom whereby you come, I think there's a famous photo of the Chief Justice last year that gone for a marriage ceremony.
I saw him crawling.
Yes, you go down crawling, and then that's when you go. You go at night, actually, in the house where you want to marry from. So we have so many unique cultures. I've had tourists who come to experience Kadodi. Now you see Kadodi, or Embalu, actually Embalu. So Embalu is in eastern Uganda, the Bagisu. Now what happens is, it's very unique that someone is circumcised while they are standing. There is no, they don't put them in anesthesia.
The determination.
Yes, the determination, yes. So to some foreigners, to a white man, it's very interesting. How can someone endure that? Because it's a medical procedure. How do they do it? It's done in public, someone is circumcised. They basically don't put in any sort of painkillers or something. And then you're supposed to be a man, and then you feel that, yes. So you find that our cultures are quite unique, yes. So we have so much to offer as a destination. So once I'll give another example of the Kabong Festival. I don't know if you've heard about it. Kabong Festival happens in Karamoja. So whereby people gather there to come and celebrate the Karamojong Festival. They look at how do they live, how do their way of life, how do they handle their cattle, how do they cultivate, etc., etc. So you find that all these cultures are unique and they're amazing in their own ways, yes. The 58 cultures we have in Uganda, each has its own uniqueness. Now, some cultures have done a good job. They have truly marketed themselves. I think when you look at the Baganda, they are quite exceptional. They have almost everything clearly mapped out, yes. So this expo, so because we are working closely with the cultural leaders, actually they are part of this expo. We want them to come and sell these different cultures. Because I am Elangi. we have certain norms in the Lao culture that are not yet really known. So we are looking at how best can we constantly promote our cultures. So I would like to thank every Ugandan who has supported local tourism, domestic tourism. We implore you to continue supporting us. Come this November, I invite you, the different tour operators, the different participants, to come and then be part of this amazing expo. We hope to attract at least some foreign direct investments. We are looking at how can we get better facilities, better service delivery, etc., etc. So I would like to thank each person who has supported us. I'd like to thank UBC for hosting us today. Hope that you can be part of the expo. And thank you for hosting me today.
Well, thank you so much. My guest, Timothy Ochen, who happens to be the Director, East Africa, UK Tourism and Culture Expo that will be happening in November. That is in the UK, running from the 7th, where we believe that definitely many of our tour operators will be part of this. And we are able as East Africa, as a region, to attract as many tour operators in this business as we can, so that at the end of the day we have a huge number of people visiting East Africa as a region, and that means so much. And I'm so impressed by the element of attracting investors into this sector. We want to have more hotels, better hotels. We want to have more facilities. We want to have even more form of employment, because you know, when these people come and set up businesses here in relation to tourism, at the end of the day they are giving our people more money, more jobs, and above all for the visitors, yes, we still need that foreign exchange, because when we can export more and bring in more foreign exchange, then at the end of the day issues of poverty are also reduced as we give more people jobs. See you tomorrow, the good Lord willing. Have the best of your day. For God and my country, good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.